It was the year 2036 when the U.S. sent peacekeeping troops to Eastern Europe in response to a civil war. During a mission to control the area from a criminal warlord named Viktor Koval, U.S. troops, led by Sergeant Miller, got ambushed by pro-Russian terrorists during a mission and found themselves trapped in a crossfire inside a militarized zone. First Lieutenant Harp, the drone pilot, was watching when he saw what appeared to be an enemy launcher. Two soldiers are still stuck in the vicinity, so he requests permission to launch a missile toward the target. Sergeant Miller refuses to give a green light, but Harp chose to ignore a direct order and fired a missile at the suspected enemy launcher as it drew nearer to the unit, destroying the two trapped military soldiers but sparing 38 others. As punishment for disregarding a direct order, Corporal Eckhart orders Harp to report to Captain Leo for training and to see if the Marines will still consider him as a drone pilot despite murdering two soldiers. He enters the barracks to look for Captain Leo. When the two met, they didn't get along at first because they both had strong personalities. Harp becomes more intrigued about what Captain Leo does, so he discloses that he is an officer of the Marines' Special Operations, and his major responsibility is to discover and remove advanced weapons beyond the enclosure. Captain Leo explains that he was ordered to accompany him on a mission because they must carry out vaccinations outside the wire, since there may be an outbreak of cholera. But they must be prepared because they are entering an area of warfare. The real objective is to find Captain Leo's contact, who can provide information to prevent criminal warlord Viktor Koval from gaining control of a network of Cold War-era nuclear missile silos. Their assignment begins immediately, which surprises Harp because he has no experience in the fields and no particular training since he is a drone pilot. Captain Leo does not seem to be worried about being partnered with Harp. He gets more surprised when Captain Leo is soon revealed to be a high-tech human robotic soldier. On their way to their vehicle, Harp asks more questions about what kind of robot Captain Leo is, to which he says is classified. Captain Leo gets bothered by two soldiers who were bullying a UMP, a robot soldier, and shows aggressive verbal behavior towards them. While Captain Leo prepares the supplies needed for their mission, Harp gets snatched by angry soldiers led by Sergeant Miller, who blames him for murdering two of their soldiers who were just 19. As they leave the base, Captain Leo teases Harp about his fiancée to calm his anxiety before they enter the refugee camp. When one of the robot soldiers inadvertently murders a local, a battle between armed locals and the unit erupts. Captain Leo attempts to talk peacefully and offering them the supplies in the truck. Harp loses his senses for a moment due to his lack of field experience, but Captain Leo yells his name and he snaps out of it. Because of the conflict, Leo and Harp have to walk to the refugee camp while the Marines fight the rebels. Captain Leo insisted that they need to get to his contact who can bring them closer to Koval. While they were walking, Harp confronted Captain Leo about the secret mission as neither the colonel nor any of the officers were aware of their true assignment. Captain Leo informs Harp that he is only concerned with carrying out their duty to save others from a nuclear explosion if Koval gains control of the silos. When they reach the refugee camp, a sniper positions himself above a truck and gets confirmation from Koval to murder both Captain Leo and Harp. As he shoots Captain Leo, the locals started to panic as some got destroyed instantly. Captain Leo shoots the man in the neck just in time as he was about to shoot Harp, who of course would murder him instantly, unlike Captain Leo, who could absorb the bullet apparently. He tortures the man to provide him information about Koval, but when he refuses, they leave him to the locals who gathered to end his life. Harp becomes suspicious of Captain Leo after watching his aggressive behavior and excessive swearing from the very beginning. He approaches him once more, this time asking what he's keeping from him. He has no choice but to follow Captain Leo, because he cannot survive outside the wire on his own. Captain Leo agrees that unleashing the missile to save 38 men was the proper thing to do. Harp is clearly still doubtful of Captain Leo and his true purpose, since he does not comprehend why he has emotions when he is a robot. He then orders Harp to hold his hands and arms and feels so he can understand that he is not a human. He then tells him that he is a combat soldier with the ability to act on his own initiative. When they reach their destination, which is an orphanage, they meet Sofia, the refugee camp leader, who is Captain Leo's contact who knows Koval's plans. She initially refuses to provide information as she wasn't sure if she could trust Harp. Captain Leo assured her that she can trust Harp, so she shared that Koval is one step away from operating the silos as the codes would be accessible for him, given the right price in the black market. She doesn't know where the vault with the codes is, but she agreed to assist Captain Leo locate the arms dealer named Valrik Oshlak, who knows where it is. Harp, who is already skeptical, sees Captain Leo buying weapons from Sophia, so he confronts her for selling illegal weapons to Captain Leo. But she explains that this is how she is able to help the children who have lost their homes as a result of his bombings as a drone pilot. They travel to the black market in search of Ashlak. He tries to escape while his men fight Captain Leo. Because of his cybernetic power, he was able to take on 4 guys at once without the assistance of Harp. Ashlak confesses that Koval's group purchased Russian gums, and when Captain Leo asks where the bank vault is, he is forced to say it and is shot in the head by Sophia. They take Ashlak's car to pass his risky street, and Harp, as a drone pilot, can assist Captain Leo in finding the quickest route. During their journey, Harp discovers that the mission was not ordered by Corporal Eckhart or any higher-ups, and that it was previously aborted. Captain Leo didn't want to stop because they were getting closer to stopping Koval. But Harp believes it would be a better idea to send some backup because Koval may have a large number of troops behind him. Before entering the premises, Captain Leo requests that Harp remove a tracking device so that they can go off-grid from Koval's Russian personnel. When they got inside, they found themselves in a crossfire with Koval's forces. Captain Leo orders Harp to contact Eckhart and inform him of Koval's whereabouts. While Captain Leo engages the Russian UMPS and forces, Harp tries to save citizens by escorting them outside the building. Eckhart sends in 2 trucks full of gums, while Russian forces hold Ukrainians captive in front of the building. Harp tries to restore peace, but the gums continue to fire. He also learns that Eckhart intends to send a missile into their area, murdering innocent people, saying they are all just collateral. As a drone pilot, he realizes that he is making the same decisions to complete missions, which he now recognizes are difficult decisions. Following the drone strike, he finds himself inside the car with Captain Leo, who was able to get the access code, but Captain Leo seemed to have other plans. He refuses to call it in and claims a command paradox exists between them, claiming that Harp did not remove a tracking device from him, but rather a failsafe, causing Leo to go uncontrolled. He knocks Harp unconscious, and when he wakes up, he finds himself back at the orphanage and taken by a group of men captive inside a camper. When he removes his blindfolds, he sees Sophia, appearing to be the leader of resistance, and tries to convince her about Captain Leo's plans. She tells Harp that she knows Leo's plan all along, but does not care what he plans to do with the nukes, even if he plans to set a nuclear strike on the US, which she says could teach them about collateral damage. She sets Harp free and tells him he's on his own. Meanwhile, Captain Leo meets with Koval and confronts him for attempting to murder him inside the building, showing how much he doesn't appreciate his actions. He then commands Koval to tell him where the perimeter is, and in return, Captain Leo says he will let him live. When Koval refuses, he murders everyone, leaving no one alive, including Koval. He located the perimeter using Koval's computer system and headed out to go to that location. Back at the base camp, Harp attempts to convince Corporal Eckhart and Sergeant Miller that Leo is planning to nuke the US mainland. He turned Koval's forces and Sophia's troops against each other as Leo plans to take the access codes to the perimeter all by himself all along. In the end, they needed to protect the US mainland, so they eventually agreed to help Harp find Captain Leo. With the help of his colleague, Bale, Harp tries to track Leo by tracking Ashlak's car using a drone. Eckhart is unable to send troops to Leo's location as it would start a war with the Russians. With the opportunity to do the right thing, Harp volunteers to go on his own and for them to set a drone strike to the perimeter to stop the nukes from being activated. As Harp reaches the Russian border, he enters the perimeter's facility with dead bodies everywhere. Meanwhile, Leo successfully inputs the access codes to activate the perimeter's nuclear missiles. Harp finds Leo and tries to fight him, but because he's too strong, he loses consciousness. Leo initializes the missile launch when Harp wakes up and shoots a gun that can shoot through armored vehicles, causing pain to Leo's system. When he asks Leo how to stop the missile launch, he told him it was too late and that his plan was to destroy the creator of robotic soldiers, the US. He says that this is the only way humans are given a fair chance and that monsters like him are the face of a never-ending war. He then gives a go signal to Eckhart to start the countdown timer for the drone strike. He leaves lasting philosophical words to Leo, saying that humans can learn to be better, and that is the greater good. He then runs away from the silo as the drone strike is going to hit the facility in about a minute. The drone hits the silo, destroying Leo and preventing the nuclear bomb from being launched. As Eckhart checks on Harp to see whether he survived the drone strike, he emerges and is shown driving a car back to the base camp in the final scene. The narrative teaches us that courage goes a long way, and that while humans make mistakes every day, we always seek to improve ourselves. That's it for today's recap. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting movie recaps. See you next time.